Hi, I'm Mickey Zeta, and this is Wednesday Night Live with Mickey. I'm so happy to have you here. For those of you who are in America, you know that tomorrow is Thanksgiving. I can't believe it. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and friends. And if you're home, I've been home lots of Thanksgivings by myself, and I still do a turkey and stuffing and cranberries and everything. So if you're by yourself, just have a great time too. So it's not required to be with friends, but that's fun. That's fun. So I am here tonight to talk to you again about, of course, collective collusion. I love the theory, and I think it's my mission to get the word out about collective collusion. What I'm going to talk about tonight are two things that have happened this week in the media, and they are, of course, centered around workplace abuse, sexual harassment and abuse, and of course my passion is domestic abuse, but it applies. And the first one is that Ronan Farrow, who broke the story about Harvey Weinstein, he was on George Stephanopoulos' This Week on, I believe it was Sunday morning. And what he said was phenomenal. And I'm actually going to read it because I don't want to get it wrong. He said, the sexual harassment will only end if society makes changes. Does that sound familiar? And then he said, this, I think, is the heart of the question of, is this a watershed moment? He said, not just that people have to be brave enough to come forward, but we as a society have to be strong enough to make changes in the way that we view abuse and the way that we respond. Hey, Sarah, nice to see you. I'm glad you're here. So I think that was phenomenal. That was on George Stephanopoulos' This Week. Now, there's a couple of more things that I think are terrific that happened this week, and I'm going to talk to you about one other one. That is that Matt Damon said on NBC's Today Show that he knew that Gwyneth Paltrow had been abused by Harvey Weinstein. And he said that he did not address the issue while they were making the movie The Talented Mr. Ripley, which was a Harvey Weinstein movie. So here, all the time of them making the movie together, he never addressed what he knew. Well, you know what he said? He said, well, you know, I didn't see it. I was told by Ben Affleck, who at the time, and may still, I don't keep up with movie stars, but Ben Affleck and Gwyneth Paltrow lived together at that time. They may have been married. I don't know. My point is that Ben Affleck told Matt Damon that Gwyneth Paltrow had been abused by Harvey Weinstein. And guess what? Neither one of them did anything. Now, in the show, and I'm going to read this again, asked if there was some part of Matt Damon, that he wished that he had called Weinstein out, Damon replied, I don't know if I would have done that. I heard from Ben, who heard from Gwyneth, that what had happened. I don't know how that would happen. I never saw anything in front of me. Then he went on to say, Harvey Weinstein is, wait a minute, I lost my place. He said Harvey Weinstein was a bully. He was intimidating, and that was part of who he was. So here are two guys who knew what happened with Gwyneth Paltrow. And Matt Damon saying, well, I really didn't know because it was hearsay. Well, that's baloney. I'm sorry. But Ben Affleck was told by Gwyneth what happened. Now, I don't know these people. I'm just saying that what is that? What are we seeing right there on NBC? We're seeing collective collusion. We're seeing collective collusion right there in front of us. These guys knew. They didn't come forward because they were afraid of Harvey Weinstein. He controlled their money. He controlled their lives because he was a powerful and a mean guy, a vindictive kind of guy he sounds like. I don't know him. These are my opinions. I can't, I don't know him. But I'm telling you, this is collective collusion. So what I'm talking about tonight is that the door's open. The door has been open for those of us who have lived in abuse. And we've kept quiet. We've kept quiet for lots of reasons. One of them is, though, society is going to side with the perpetrator. Society is going to side with the abuser. And, that's really got to change. I read an article that's in Huffington Post. It was written by Alana Vagiatos, and she listed statistics about people living in abuse and what's going on. She said the number of American troops killed in Afghanistan and Iraq between 2001 and 2012 was 6,488. The number of American women murdered by current or ex-partners during that same time was 11,766, almost double the number of people in the same period of time that were killed in the war. Folks, that is shocking. And guess what? We're still not talking about it. She said, Alana said, 3 is the number of women murdered every day by a current or a former partner. 3 women a day are murdered because of abuse, because of domestic abuse. That's shocking. And we don't talk about it. It's not okay to talk about this. 4,774,000 women in the United States experience physical violence by an intimate partner every year. 4,774,000. How is it not being discussed? How is it not out there? Just like hashtag #MeToo. Why is it not so vocal? Why are we not so vocal? Because we're afraid. We're afraid to come forward. 70 times. That's the number of times more time. 70 times is the more times likely a woman is to be murdered in the first few weeks after leaving an abusive partner. 70 times more likely than staying is she likely to be murdered. Folks, this is news. This is fact. This is not made up. And it's been that way all the time. 1 in 4 is the number of women who will be victims of severe violence abuse at the hands of a domestic partner. 1 in 4. And you've heard me say before, some statistics are saying 1 in 3 now. So it's not something that's going away. It's not something that's getting less. It's something that's growing. It's an epidemic, and we're not really talking about it. Compared to the hashtag #MeToo movement, those of us that are living in domestic abuse or have left domestic abuse, we're not getting the same media attention. And I'm happy. I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining about the hashtag #MeToo movement because laws are changing. Laws are changing because of that. There is more attention, so society is paying closer attention, but it still is not addressing domestic abuse. So I'm saying that I'm encouraging you, please use the hashtag 1 in 4 domestic abuse. Hashtag 1 in 4 domestic abuse. Put it wherever you want to. It does not mean that you have personally lived in domestic abuse. It's not that you have been an abused person. It's that you support that it's time for this conversation to come out of the closet and out into the light, onto the stages, on television more. Why are there not more talk shows that address domestic abuse? Why do I have the only podcast of 300,000 active podcasts? Mine is the only one that is coming from the perspective of an abused person. So this is something that, the time has come. The time has come. Just like workplace harassment, time has come that domestic abuse come out of the closet, that we talk about it. Now, I'm not encouraging anybody to do anything that's not going to be safe. I want you to be safe. So if coming out of the closet means that you have a friend who's also has lived in abuse or is living in abuse, and you just talk to her, that words are powerful. Words are powerful. And the more that we talk about this, the more attention we're going to get. Even if it's not media attention, we know what's going on. We are a group of sisters of survivors of abuse. And so let's join hands, let's join arms, let's speak our stories, tell our stories. And if you're comfortable speaking out publicly, do it. Do it. Don't do anything that's dangerous for you. But if you've got the opportunity to speak out, tell your story, share your stories. Stories are so powerful. You do it. I'm just encouraging you to do it. So be aware of collective collusion. It's there, not just in domestic abuse, but in a lot of things. Society is going to side with the abuser, with the perpetrator. Somehow we're made to feel the ones who are causing the problem, and we're not. I read something, and I don't remember the words exactly, and I don't have them right here, but it's something like, your abuser gets mad and blames you for his abuse because of your response. Your response to his abuse is what makes him mad. Now, And that's sick. That is really not good at all, but that's our reality. That's what we live with. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving. Please remember, hashtag 1 in 4 domestic abuse, and pay attention to collective collusion. It's there. It's real. It's not a figment of my imagination or anybody else's. It's part of the life that we live. I will be back on Sunday night for Sunday Night Wine with Nikki, and it'll be our third class in the series of Surviving the Holidays. So thanks for being here. I appreciate it. I'll see you again on Sunday. Enjoy your holiday.